down to this final game. SK Telecom T1 versus FNTIC. The scoreline in the best three tied at 1-1. And we're going to decide in the next 22, well, who knows how many minutes in the end of it, who is going to be the champion of Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. Look at this, FNTIC already setting up here in the middle. Karthus may be forced to flash. Yes, he will. There is the flash coming out, and good job, because that Zenith Blade was directly on his position. The knockup was coming out from Cyanide as well, and FNTIC win that initial war and forcing the Summoner spell to be burned.
And Joe, we always talk about this in the beginning of the game. Who do you think has it? We heard the experts. What do you think? I
think the momentum that FNTIC are going to have, as we saw in that first semi-final, I think that's going to be enough to carry them through here. I do like the composition of SK Telecom. I mean, a Mumu ulti with the Zyra ultimate with Karthus right on top of them as well. That's a pretty scary combo to be going up against. But on the other hand, FNTIC's isn't half bad either. You've got that great CC out of Leona, the knock-up out of Cho'Gath, the non-extra damage that you're going to have in there. The Orianna Shockwave is always a favorite of mine as well, if you can land it. So it's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure.
Yeah, and actually really curious to see how well Soaz does again. This is the third game in a row he's actually playing Lee Sin against SK Telecom. And I'm also curious how well Reckless does, because he's running with a Leona this time. A little bit different of a combo. Though he is against a Kog'Maw and a Zyra, which Zyra kind of matches the range of Caitlyn. We do see Reaper just waiting on the side, trying to spot. If they will be going for that blue, will spot it. But really not much they can do after that. We do see an invade coming out of SK Telecom onto the enemy's blue here, but Soaz will see it as well.
Yeah, and so is he going to be able to get in there? Nope, not quite. He'll land the Q.
And the two small minions.
And Mumu smites it out. Cyanide doing the same over the other side of the map, and he's going to go back into his side of the jungle for the red buff. So pretty much a mirror start there. Lane swap coming out for FNTIC. We're going to have Caitlyn and Leona up against Olaf in this top lane, and Lee Sin versus Kog'Maw and Zyra in the bottom lane. Who do you fancy to do the best out of the two solos in these 2v1s?
Well, we do have Olaf. I mean, just straight Olaf. His undertow, if he levels it up, he's going to be able to farm so well that Lee Sin just kind of can't really do. We have seen Soaz play exceptionally well on Lee Sin, but then Reaper does exceptionally well on Olaf. So I'm going to give it to him, though, in that top lane. And again, he is being zoned quite hard by N-Rated here. As he misses that Zenith Blade one more time. But still, I mean, they have the potential to push the lane very quickly and take this tower like they did in game number 2. They took that top tower very early, then switched down to bottom, and kept pushing that out.
Bottom lane going pretty much the same there. You and me just putting him out as much damage as he can onto Soaz as Lee Sin, keep him out of range of the CS and of their experience as well. Meanwhile, we do have Cyanide waiting in the wings here in this middle lane. I think he might have been spotted from this ward of Mitely, so we'll have to see how that goes. Mitely is positioned as though he does know that something might end up happening to him on that front. Meanwhile, we see in this top lane again, damage already being done to the turret, down to 2,059. Bottom turret, 2,448. So top doing more damage to the tower at the moment.
As you expect, though, it's a Caitlyn. I mean, you're able to clear waves so quick with that passive. We do see Soaz going to try to lessen her with this Q, but and now we are seeing SK Telecom finally push that wave. We don't actually see a gank coming out of Cyanide just yet. Was spotted by a ward as he's just walking past again. Was trying to go for another gank on Karthus. You know, he obviously doesn't have that flash up. Still going back into his jungle. Level 3 double buffs. And obviously going to be trying to level up a little bit more. Actually, he can't really gank this bottom lane until level 6, and even then, he's not going to be able to do too well on that. So they're really counting on this top lane to win and this middle lane to win as well. It's Peke trying to zone Miley, doing a good job of it as you see him down to half-life. Still sitting on those 3 pots, though.
Yeah, doing a really good job so far. Is Peke in this middle lane. Thing is, they can't even dive Reaper at this stage. Obviously, he's got level advantage now. He is pretty damn tanky right from the start anyway. And he's just going to be taking everything that comes under his turret. So I was trying to do the same here. 16 to 11 is the difference between those two bruisers that are in the 1 versus 2 lanes. Middle lane, 26 to 20, as we are going to see now. Soaz coming out. He's going to put the Ignite down on towards Starless. Exhaust is in there. Can Cyanide actually land the Rupture here? Yes, he can. They are going to do a lot of damage, but have they got enough to finish it off? There's a flash in. Starless is still alive, but there's the first blood from Soaz. Picks up the kill. Cyanide actually flashing away there from the Zyra passive. Pretty wise move in my opinion as well. Probably would have been enough damage to kill him. And that will be first blood coming in for FNTIC. Another first blood for FNTIC. I feel like every time we've watched FNTIC so far this tournament, they've had first blood.
Yeah, all 6 games today they actually have. And just as I said that they couldn't actually go for a kick in the bottom, and they get it. And they give it over to Soaz. But yeah, it was a great flash out of Cho'Gath. Didn't want to give away that double buff. That was the big thing, because he definitely would have went down eventually to that Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
And anytime in the top lane, though, they still are pushing away. They do have the turret very low, currently sitting at 700 health at the moment. And Soaz keeping his turret a little bit healthier than that. And obviously with that gank, it's going to be quite easy to do that. Sitting on about 1,000 gold at the moment to go back with. Going to be building into his Brutalizer, which he typically always goes for. We do see Cho'Gath, though, with his Boots mobility, with that red buff still up, going to be able to come around yet again onto this bottom lane, since there currently are no wards there. And obviously Starlast doesn't have that flash available.
Yeah, this top turret is going to be pressured, but we see Olaf actually going in there onto them. And this is 2v1. Reaper actually will get ignited there. That's going to be enough to send him back. But, well, it done that much damage there. He probably could have ended up getting 2 kills from it. That's how ridiculous that situation was. Meanwhile, we do have Horo coming in to this top lane, still only level 4, so it's all about whether he can land this Bandage Toss. Actually, he's just going to flash in there. Bandage Toss will come down. There is the cleanse coming out of Reckless, and Horo doesn't want to tank the turret up just yet, and he will stay safe there. So 1-0, 8.4 to 6.9 thousand gold. FNTIC with the advantage.
And they are going for that lane switch. You see Unrated heading down there currently. That's not going to be too far behind, though. Soaz still coming down as well. They might do the kind of thing they did last game, where they actually went for that dragon, and then Soaz finally went towards that top lane. XPK putting a lot of pressure onto this mid turret, down to about 1,700 health. We currently see no pink ward, though, and they did it last time without a pink ward. But will they be ballsy enough to do it this time, Joe? They have all 5 members there.
It looks like it. It really looks like it. Yep, they are going to start off there. They end up with a Zenith play, just kind of drag the dragon out. Well, let's see if they can actually get it finished here before SK Telecom actually react to this one. They've seen that the bottom lane is coming up from this one. It might just force FNTIC to back away. Yes, it will. Slow actually coming down here onto Reckless. And look at that. They've got it on towards Cyanide. He's falling low. Olaf there. And Rated actually coming over the side. But Cyanide is going to go down to Reaper. There is the shockwave out of XPK. But I'm not sure it's enough to save Enrated either. No, it's not. And it's Kog'Maw that actually picked up the kill. Meanwhile, Zyra did die over on the other side. Reckless quite low. Lee Sin goes flying the whole way across. Always fun to see. And so as I don't think he's finished just yet. Tried to land that Q onto you and me. In the end, didn't hit anyone.
Yeah, that was, I mean, they did in game number 2. It was a very ballsy play. They ended up coming out successful in it, but this time, I mean, we had Soaz just still pushing that bottom lane. Didn't come to help. It might have actually gone down in time. And Cyanide going down, losing. Did he actually lose double buffs on that, Joe? No, not double buffs, but at least a rep. No, didn't. So, no. If anything, he didn't lose that. Reaper in the top lane, still farming away. 37 CS, not too bad. Has that GP10. See Soaz landing that Q onto Horo. Might be able to get this turret. Actually, no, he won't be able to get it, but we'll get it very low. And look again, we're seeing FNTIC go for Dragon yet again. They don't have a pink. Well, they did have one last time, but they don't really care, as we do have them straight going for all 5 members there. We have Reaper in the top lane, so that should be first Dragon going over to them. And a much-needed gold little boost.
Oh, I thought we might think about Bandage tossing in there, but in the end, will be finished off by Orianna. So, again, every little helps for FNTIC. Tied up with the kills, but they've got turret advantage. They've taken away the first dragon of the game, and that means they are 1,700 gold in the lead currently, as blue buff has just been given over towards XPK in the middle. You may see that blue beam going over to mightily in a little while as well. That is up on the SK Telecom side of the map. Let's have a quick look down the CS, because top lane is actually a pretty big difference now. 52 to 33 in favor of Olaf. Middle lane 55 to 60, pretty even there. Bottom lane is also damn even, 64 to 65, and that's just exchanging here with these waves coming in, and even the support's got a 1 CS apiece. So really even stuff right now. Obviously SK Telecom got that advantage in the top lane, although Soaz does have 2 kills from that, which puts him just about ahead in the gold with that turret and the dragon down as well.
Yeah, that Brutalizer is going to be amazing for him. Olaf sitting at only that 57 armor. We have that 21 flat out of Soaz, plus the 10%, I believe it was. Yep, 10% on his penetration. But at the bot lane, I mean, Reckless and Enray, they've kind of been passive. Have you noticed that? I mean, they really haven't tried going for a dive on Kog'Maw under tower. We do see Zyra not level 6 yet, and Enray should be hitting it very shortly. We'll hit it way before Starlast, and that could be the key for them to just dive in for it. They should be able to pick up a Zyra, if anything, though. I mean, Reckless, I'm sure he's just happy farming away, as he did in game number 2.
Yeah, and that's something that he can do really well. And in terms of, you know, aggression, we're in game number 3 of a grand final, and that's the real problem that comes to mind there, is that you don't want to play all-out aggressive, in my opinion, at this stage of the tournament. They're going to be playing a lot safer, a lot more methodical, and trying to find those advantages from wherever they can get them, rather than trying to make them, if that makes any sense. As Enrated is coming in from the side. Ulti comes down onto Mightily, and not quite enough damage. Actually, XPK did have Shockwave ready, but didn't have the mana to just press that button, as Horo actually is going to get exhausted up here, ignited up. And still not quite dying, but yeah, the damage already coming out there.
Still going for that finished Codex, still will be building things in Holy Grail. We had Silent actually waiting on the side, didn't really go in for it, and XPK had his ultimate up right when we saw Miley just get out of range. A little bit unfortunate for him, but he still got that turret off of it, and XPK with that blue buff trying to push down this mid, or the second tier turret, though. We see Miley coming back to lane, and I mean, overall FNTIC, it's just step by step, just taking SKT out of this game.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with the whole methodical thing. Easy for me to say. That's exactly what they're going to be going for in this one, step by step.
It's like they have a plan.
Working, yeah,
like set up. Like, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this.
Of how to win this game. That's for sure. As we are seeing here, XPK maybe in a little bit of danger. He's going to use the shockwave. You've got Soaz coming in, who will have to kick Mightily away. Flash used there by XPK to try and escape. Well, Mightily goes in. XPK not quite able to stay alive. But Soaz will kick Karthus. That'll do enough damage with the turret combined in there as well to get the kill. And here we can see Reaper in that top lane, just hammering away on the turret. I say hammering, pretty slowly hammering.
Just lightly tapping every so often. But we do see Soaz again, 3-0. Game number 2 that happened, he was so far ahead in kills. Was able to finally carry that game. However, in game number 1, he wasn't able to. Can he do it again? Can he pull it off for the victory for this grand final, Joe?
I think he's got a better chance this time around.
He's against a tougher target, though, Olaf. I mean, can't really control him too much, and he has a lot more CC against him with this Amumu, with the Zyra, and with this Karthus. As you see right now, the top lane is actually going for a dive here onto Soaz.
Yeah, and he's going to get this one as well, because guess what? Karthus is in the game, and there is the kill for Karthus.
Oh yeah, there's a Karthus.
Press R for victory. Here we go then, down in the bottom lane. Enrated is going to move in. Oh, flashed away there, Starlass from the Leona ultimate. Now they may just try and turn this one around. The slow will land onto Reckless, but has he got the damage to get this kill coming out? Reckless takes probably 2 more hits on this one, you and me. He does land the ultimate, but Reckless just walks straight through it, knowing that he can't chase up with anything after that one. Even though he did have flash there, you and me, which kind of surprised me.
Going again on this mid lane, going to head against XPK, taking a surprising amount of damage. You do see Horo flash in.
Oh, and that lay waste is going to do a lot of damage. Can he finish him off here? Yes, he can. Horo gets the kill. We are going to see a turret going down here as well for FNTIC, and we talked about how methodical FNTIC have been about this game so far. Well, the right aggression in the right places can really throw you off that kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 deaths straight for XPK in the mid lane. He just got back to lane, ended up dying again, and they're taking out that key player. If they keep him out of the game, that Shockwave obviously not going to be doing as much damage as they needed to. Which will pretty much just save their lives in these fights. But yeah, they seem to just want to focus him down the lane. XPK, you know, have his time at top lane. He obviously did die to Karthus there, but still, they're not really trying to focus on him. We do see him heading down towards this red buff, though. So I should be able to pick up this red pretty much unnoticed. But will he actually turn that around into a bot lane gank? Because that tower sitting at almost half-life.
Yeah, he needs to kill the small lizards here as well. Starlass coming in. Will get away with that one, and they did see his position as well. And now,
this is going to be very bad for FNTIC.
Will they dive this bottom lane?
We have Olaf and Amumu and Karthus all closing in around. This could be
Here we go, really bad. They are going to move in on towards you and me. There is the Zyra ulti, going to knock all 3 of them up. That's going to give the rest of the team time to come around. And Mumu coming in, Reckless, going to net away, but Soaz, he's going to have to try and dash out to the minions. But here comes Karthus. This is going to be a whitewash for SK Telecom. They managed to pick up one. There is the second one. XPK should just get out of there as the bandage toss lands full range on towards Reckless. Can Horo finish this one off? Not quite, as they put a ward over the top. Cho'Gath actually coming around the backside. Reaper is still chasing in towards XPK, and they are actually turning around here. Shockwave used on Mightily, but didn't do anything to him.
So 1 for 3 and Dragon.
Yeah.
Not a bad trade. Gold lead pretty much non-existent right now for SK Telecom. They have that 200 gold advantage, but with this Dragon, I'll take it a little bit higher than that. Sana, gotta be careful here, though. If he gets caught by Rupert, he will most likely go down. Does have that flash available, though. And that's exactly what you want to see of SK Telecom to get back in this game. Carve this now 1,400 gold to back with. Olaf, 1,100. We'll go to pick up some key items. And Olaf, 3-0-3. That's why we saw him banned out previously against Rupert.
Yeah, I mean, he played a brilliant game with it. Horo as well. I mean, maybe not quite as much in that last game, but when we've seen him earlier on in the tournament, was a very good Olaf player. So if you've got an Olaf that can be this strong in 2 different roles, I'd say that's pretty much the definition of a ban, right?
Yeah. But then again,
I've just seen Oracle pop for Cyanide. Go on, sorry.
I don't know. Then again, we had to see a Misfortune ban. They also took out that Evelyn because they didn't want to see Rupert on him again.
Yep.
But the Misfortune was so key in game number 1 to carry them. As you saw, I mean, wasn't too great on that 80 champion in game 2. Wasn't bad, but wasn't really amazing.
So Cyanide here with the Oracle, as I said. Ooh, meanwhile, down at the bottom, we are actually seeing Rupert coming in towards Enrated. They've got no turret behind. The rest of the team is going to turn around. Carthus ulti comes down. Enrated is dead. Reckless is not going to get away either. And actually, it will be you and me to pick up that kill right at the end. And that's just far too easy. Yeah, that can't happen.
The difference between game number 2 and 3 is, remember during game number 2 when we were pointing out that we saw 4 members of FNTIC having wards? Not seeing that so much this game. Obviously right now you will, but they're not getting the coverage they need. They can't afford to be getting ganked like this and dying. It is 10-4 now. The game is starting to snowball a little bit out of their favor. We do have Kog'Maw getting towards that FNTIC. Carthus finishes Rod of Ages, but Olaf, I mean, he has almost that Randu entanglement, almost had that Shureless.
XPK going to run straight into Rupert here. Picks up the axe one more time. Nice flash away from XPK. That will stop him from dying. But will it stop everyone else from dying? Soaz here taking good damage from Mightily. Where's he going to run to? That's the problem. Wall of Pain is down, and he's going to actually try and get over the other side. There's his flash use as well. Can Zyra land the root? He's going to flash over the root, actually missing there. Well, they've got 2 of them coming in. Soaz going to turn him back around. Is going to kill Mightily, but will die straight away after that one. So credit where it's due there from Soaz. He did well to turn that one around.
Yeah, the rest of FNTIC was trying to push up that mid lane since they saw so many members of SK Telecom committing towards the top, though. Being forced to back out. Horo waiting on the side, was spotted by that ward and those minions who are still chasing after him. They want a piece of that action as they will finally get back to lane. But still, Shureless is now picked up for Olaf. With that Ghost, we always talk about how deadly it is. And not to mention, getting Horo in position to get that ultimate down is really going to be key. And that Shureless will be a major factor in that.
Yeah, totally agree with that one. 4-0-4. Great position for Rupert. He's coming in towards this top side. Orianna is there. Is Kog'Maw going back? Yes, he is, but may change his plans now that Rupert is coming in. Rupert actually going to walk in towards Enrated there, so FNTIC were ready for it this time around. They had this ward inside of the tri-bush to give them that vision, and that's what they need to do because they can't afford, once again, as I said before, down in that bottom lane, to get caught out in this matchup. It's simply... it'll lose them the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not being aggressive anymore. They're being defensive during the entire game in game 2 and for the first 12 minutes of this game. They were being really aggressive, trying to force fights, trying to force turrets to go down. But now, with just how far they've fallen behind, they have to play defensive. And that's not really the position they want to play in because that gives SK Telecom the ability to engage when they want to. And with that combo running, I mean, that's exactly what they want. You do see, though, the Phase Edge not yet done for Reckless. How much gold is he sitting on? 1,900, so we'll be very close to it at least. And they will need that major item out of him before they can start pushing back against this team.
Yeah, but look at Olaf.
Yeah, that Randuin's. Yeah. Exactly. Just about to point that out. That means Caitlyn can't kill him unless you get that last whisper. And then even then, I mean, the slow you get from it, from hitting him, and the slow on the proc is really going to shut him down. As long as Olaf can just run into him, it's going to be very bad for Reckless.
Well, he's Olaf, so he can run into him.
He goes where he pleases. Forget Mundo. It's Olaf.
It's Olaf. That Ragnarok. And a nice little steal away there from XPK, taking the Wraiths out. And moving into a slower time in the game. FNTIC, I think, have realized that they have to turtle up for a little while, get some gold under their belts.
I mean, the problem is, look at the kills. It's stacked on the Soaz, but the thing is...
at the start, you know, four kills on Lee Sin.
It worked out for them game number 2, but as you're seeing right here with XPK dying, was it 3 times in a row? It's just not what they need to spread out these kills. They need to spread this gold out. They need to get a couple more items. Maybe those sword boots done on Orianna. And eventually that Infinity Edge done for Caitlyn. But still, it's just, he's not able to do what he did last game with it.
So Rupert going to farm down in this bottom lane now. And just pushing it. He shouldn't even be too scared of Soaz, I think. There, you can see that one. Oh, he needs to be scared of the cyanide there, though, that's for sure. Actually will pop the Randuins, and that will stop them from chasing in onto him. And, I mean, he's got 2 items there, really, with that Shurelia's as well.
Yeah.
He's kind of hard to pin down and to chase and everything to get away from. He's going to be a real terror moving forward in this one. Actually picking up the Negatron cloak as well as he goes home.
We do have Dragon coming up very shortly, Joe. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a big team fight. FNTIC needs to secure this. However, I don't think they can win a head-on-head fight against SK Telecom at this point, and they're going to have to concede it, which will only make SK Telecom that much farther ahead and complete that many more items. I mean, Olaf, you mentioned the Negatron cloak. That pretty much nullifies all of XPK's damage at this point. Not to mention he is 0-3 with only 1 major item completed. I mean, what does he even need to build next? Maybe a Warmog just to get a little bit more tanky just to take that much more damage?
I don't know. I don't think he needs that, to be honest.
Or maybe a Zeki's Herald actually for Kog'Maw would actually be very useful.
Yeah. SK Telecom actually forced a little bit back there. I mean, XPK is starting to hurt now with that Athene's Unholy Grail in there. Double Doran's Ring, of course, as well. No pure damage item coming out just yet. We do have that Aegis finished with the Cho'Gath, obviously one over on the other side with Amumu as well. And as you said, Dragon gonna be coming up here pretty soon. In fact, it's already up. Soaz has already started it on his own. Little bit of a ballsy move from his side of things.
A little bit.
SK Telecom are gonna head down there. Karthus is going to be joining. Look at Reaper's position here, just standing inside of that brush as we are going to see Wall of Pain go down. Reaper is going to move in on towards XPK, and there is the ultimate coming out of Amumu. XPK is going to be forced to back away somewhat, but Soaz is still right in the middle of them. He's not going to last too long, though, as he will kick Karthus. Can Karthus survive? No, not quite, but he is going to get 2 there as he goes down, plus the ultimate coming in as well. Oh, they've just about survived. What a brilliant bandage toss, and now the axe thrown in. Where's the finish? There it is. Reaper will find Caitlyn, and that is an ace for SK Telecom. 16-6, 33,500 gold. This is going to be turret number 3 and 4 from SK Telecom. Bad times for FNTIC. What can they do, Jason, in this situation? As Caitlyn
I'll let you know when I find out.
Fetal position. I am scared.
Well, the thing is, they need to take major objectives, but they can't really afford to fight this. See the Infinity Edge finally done for Caitlyn. Aegis being picked up. We did lose an Oracle and a Cyanide, which was one of the things that was kind of keeping in the game because they were able to keep their jungle cleared out of wards, able to put a couple down themselves just so they couldn't get caught so much. But Joe, I mean, it's just not looking good. Down 5,500 gold. That ace is going to give SK Telecom a lot of really good items. As you see, the Giant's Belt picked up for Olaf, obviously going to be going into that Warmog's armor. And we see, actually, not the Rylai's, the Rabadon's almost done for Karthus. And when that happens, I mean, that's it. That's pretty much it.
When that happens, we're all speechless. So Negatron Cloak actually picked up in there as well for Kog'Maw. And, well, I can see why, to be honest with you. You get that magic damage out of the way. XPK Shockwave, which is something that's they're going to be relying on FNTIC here to keep them in the game, will pretty much not touch you at this stage of the game. Does have a needlessly large rod now, though, to add some extras in there. But you can see SK Telecom are going to have the Dragon away. No contest for that one. A few wards still up here for FNTIC, but they're all pretty much about to time out. And as I say that, they will, one by one, just drop off the face of the map. So Baron, you know, up and available for the taking. But from SK Telecom's side of it, do they want to risk it at this stage?
Why not? They know they can win these team fights. They know that there's currently no Oracle over for FNTIC. You can bait them into a fight. They're going to have to stop it. There's no way they can let that go, or the game would easily be over. So if they bait them into a fight, they obviously have a stronger team fight. No reason not to, as long as they aren't going to plan to commit to that Baron and try to take it down if they do see anyone on FNTIC. Because, I mean, it's a Cho'Gath. It's Cyanide. It's just Cyanide. We know him as, like, the best Baron stealer, or actually, well, any stealer in the game on his jungler. And he's got Cho'Gath on top of it.
So here we go then. Look at this. Ball on Soaz. And the ultimate actually coming down here from Leona onto Starlast, but Soaz may go a little bit too deep with this one. Zyra ulti is going to come down. Soaz knocked up and taken down. However, Smite is still there. We've got Mightily actually coming in. That was a very interesting way to go about that one, just face checking straight into the bush. And they're going to go 1 for 2. Strange from Mightily.
Yeah, I was like, why? Why?
Why?
I mean, he did have 2 wards, trying to maybe put down a ward onto that bush. Maybe put one down on towards the top of red, but they knew, you know, Lee Sin had that ball on him, so they knew Orion was in the vicinity. And yet, they ended up losing their own Oracle, as we saw Starlast die. We see another one picked up on him, so obviously not short of money in any way. We do see a Chain Vest coming out of a Mumu, and his Shurelya is almost done, so we might have that second Shurelya out of them. And make them that much easier for him to disengage if they need to, and not to mention engage, which, honestly, why not? Well, we do see Reckless still farming up this top lane. 218 CS, not too bad. However, he has his 2 deaths and just 3 assists. His counterpart, 2 kills, 1 assist, or sorry, 1 death, 4 assists with 210 CS. So, I mean, the difference CS obviously not as much as you need. And they need to start seeing him coming around in these team fights. We do have the Bloodthirster done, though, on Soaz, which is the exact same build we saw him go last time, though. He's 5-5-2, falling behind in CS. And against how tanky currently SK Telecom is, I don't really see him being that effective.
So that Starlast again going into Baron Pit. And actually the Rupture set the Baron off on a warpath, took Starlast down to half health. And SK Telecom, you know, they do have that item advantage, but you can see they're playing it very, very passively, actually. They're not really 100% forcing these fights to come out there. They're still a little bit worried that, you know, FNTIC at the end of the day do have a decent comp to lock them up. If the ultimates from Leona, that Shockwave, end up landing there with the knock-up coming out as well, they could still take down SK Telecom in one of these fights if they don't get it perfectly started. But they are starting to move it out towards this inner turret. Built over Peacemaker says, well, no, you're not. That wave taken out very, very quickly there.
Even though SK Telecom is so far ahead, Joe, they really, like you were just saying, they're playing a little defensive. They don't want to hurry in a fight that they're going to lose, especially under these turrets where it really could happen. We do see Ridwa being taken away, though. Cyanide just trying to spot where they are because, you know, they don't really have the control over their own jungle. Looking at vision, they have none. Just 1 ward in Baron Pit, nothing in their own jungle. They can't even run into there, unless they're going to want to die. We do have that last ward being cleared out by Starlast. I see Baron not going to be attacking him this time, as they are coming around as a group and ready to pick up an Oracle himself just to help with his vision that they're going to need. Cyanide, I mean, he's getting pretty tanky, but they're going to be lacking quite a bit of damage. Not to mention, they're getting locked down quite easily out of the CC that SK Telecom has.
Yeah, that's the thing. One good Amumu ultimate is going to get straight followed up there by the Zyra ultimate. Is Horo going to go in for this one? Will Bandage does get 3 of them. There is the Amumu ultimate. Zyra ulti going to be a little bit slow, but will go down and knock 2 of them up in the end. They're going to dive straight in and try and finish this one off. Karthus actually dying fairly early on in the fight. Cyanide going low, but here comes that Karthus ultimate, and Reaper is sticking in there. Gets knocked up by Cho'Gath. Axe not quite landing. And that will be a 2-for-1. Carter's dying. Horo was really close to dying. He had like 0 health. Oh, obviously he didn't have 0, otherwise he would have died. But he was super, super low from that one. And again, you know, a 2-for-1. Not the worst thing that can happen for FNTIC, but at the end of the day, 10 2-for-1 fights means not a very good score for FNTIC.
And the thing is, they actually made FNTIC a little bit scared there. If you notice, Reaper was tanking them 1v5, if not 1v4 right there in that fight. And that just shows how far ahead he is. And the thing is, FNTIC has no answer for him. If he charges into him, if they can't kill him with 4 people, how are they going to kill him at all? I mean, without that ultimate up, obviously they will have a slight chance. Still, we do see Starlast back in. How much gold is he sitting on? 700. We'll be building to the Aegis very shortly. We see Kog'Maw getting close to Infinity's Edge, and when he gets that, the game's over.
Olaf's got Warmogs now.
Oh, as you do when you're that fed. 7, 0, and 9 now.
They've got that double Shurelias to get things started. Obviously now it's just a case of waiting for those ultimates to come back up. The Horror ultimate plus Starlast ultimate. You and me not quite got his Infinity Edge finished here. And SK Telecom might start things off. Yes, they are. Here we go. Going to start off Baron. Will they come off it, though? Let's try to click on Baron's health. Where is he? There he is.
Cyanide doesn't have flash to get in there.
Yeah, Cyanide not got flash. It's down to 3,000 here as he is trying to get in there. Zyra ultimate is going to be devastating. Knocks 2 of them into the air. There is the Amumu ultimate as well. But SK Telecom are actually losing quite a lot of health from this one. But they've got those 2 valuable kills in there. They've taken out the AD carry. Soaz has to walk away the other way. And that will be a 3-for-4. So still, you see that it's not over for FNTIC just yet. Not quite.
It's not. However, that fight was completely in favor of FNTIC in terms of initiation. They had that Orianna ultimate, not to mention the Cho'Gath knockup. They pretty much blew up Starlast right away. He got his ultimate off, yeah, but it was a little bit too late there, as we noticed. But now we have a push onto this mid turret. SOAS last one to really defend this. However, with Reaper and how tanky he is, that 4,200 total life right now, Joe.
Yeah.
Obviously nothing he can do there, and that will open up inhibitor for SK Telecom and their team. Oh, Kog'Maw sitting on almost 2,000 gold, Joe. That will be an Infinity's Edge eventually.
One thing's for sure, we're definitely not going to be seeing any surrender votes in this one.
I would hope not.
Final match of Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. SK Telecom with a nice lead, but is it going to be enough to win the game for them? There's Reaper actually just popping the Shurelias, keep him safe. Does have that Ghost up soon. His Ignite will be up there soon as well. Zyra ultimate will be just about to come off cooldown, and the Amumu 1 will be shortly there as well. FNTIC actually taking themselves a dragon, which they're 6,000 gold, give or take, behind, and
it doesn't matter.
Small, but yeah, I think it does matter. I mean, to finish off some of the big items.
Well, I mean, look at their gold they have on them currently. The only one that was really close was SOAS, who ended up picking up that last Whisper, but I mean, he was the only one to escape. But if they can't protect Reckless, then they're not going to win these fights. And yeah, it's not bad. If you have a free dragon, obviously do take it. But it's not really going to get them the items they really do need to start winning these fights. And Baron obviously not going to be contested for SK Telecom anymore, since that was very close. That was a very close fight. They could have lost it right there and gotten FNTIC back in the game. But they are pushing down this mid turret. And they have
double Negatron cloak for Olaf.
Oh gosh, going for that Fawn next. I mean, they have all their ultimates up. We could see another engage coming out very shortly. And if anything, they should, because now Kog'Maw is so much... He's exponentially stronger because of that Infinity's Edge.
And SK Telecom here, pushing up through the middle. Don't forget that Baron did survive through that. He's probably wondering why he is still alive after all this time. But he is, and that's the important thing. SOAS waiting off here in this brush to the side. We'll see how he actually gets involved in the fight. Probably just wants to wait and try and get Kog'Maw from that backside. I think Horo has actually just spotted his position there, so you and me will be aware that they could be attempting to dive onto him. SOAS will get back into the base. The bandage toss actually missing there from Horo. SK Telecom forced away from this inhibitor. That just shows you the respect that they've got for FNTIC now. I mean, there's no turret there, but they are still worried about trying to get into this inhibitor itself.
Now, so as he got behind him again, hopping over that wall with that ward. Will he make a big play off it? He's going to get right behind you and me here. He does get that Q on him, though, Joe.
Yeah, he's managed to actually get in there on towards Kog'Maw, and he is going to get the kill on Kog'Maw. Let's have a look how the rest of the fight's going to go down. Mightily is going to fall. That's 2 kills coming in already for FNTIC. Carcass ulti coming down. Reaper, though, going to get knocked in the air. Have they got the damage to actually finish Reaper off here? He is ridiculously healthy. As Reckless also taking damage. Reaper going to explode Orianna. And that will be a 2 for 2. But everyone that's still alive is pretty unhealthy, except Zyra, who's still got loads of health at the back.
So we saw right there.
They've held on to it.
That was all because of SOAS. He got that amazing initiate right onto you and me. Took him out of the fight immediately. And because of that, FNTIC had somewhat of a fighting chance right there, as it was a 2 for 2 trade. And still, well, Caitlyn ulting just for the heck of it. But OS obviously taking no damage. He will have that Fawn done momentarily. Actually, I think he's only, it's about 200, 300 gold short of it. But Reckless, though, he doesn't seem to be making much of an impact in these fights, Joe.
No, and that's, I think, the unfortunate part here for FNTIC. I mean, he's getting low health really quickly. Like, they are focusing him nicely. I mean, I think without SOAS, without that play from SOAS actually coming in from the backside and really making sure that he has literally one target in the fight, and that is to kill Kog'Maw, kick him out of there, stop him doing the damage to the rest of the team. Without that, I think FNTIC might have already have lost this game, but SOAS is doing well. And if they can, keep doing that, there is a chance that they can still turn this one around.
I don't think a team like SK Telecom would let that happen again, though, Joe. I mean, you let that happen once, and it's never going to happen again. I mean, but SOAS, he's very good at his position, as we saw right there. He hopped over that wall with the ward to get right behind him and made a big play off it. We do have Horror, though, with an Oracle, going to be clearing out all the vision that FNTIC has in their own jungle.
A Horror. Sorry.
That's what you did there, Joe. Pretty good. But they are coming back onto this inhibitor. They do have their ultimates back up again, so they could go right for another teamfight Kog'Maw, though, this time. Look at him. I mean, he's just hitting this inhibitor from range, just sieging it down. I'd be a little bit careful here, though, but very low inhibitor. If that does fall, that could be actually Baron being lost to them as well.
And we saw Lee Sin actually trying to get around the side. This time they've got wards there. It's like, well, we're going to keep an eye out for that Lee Sin, trying to get into our Kog'Maw. And then Kog'Maw has to get away. And there's Lee Sin again. He's got his own wards down, so he can get in and out of that base. Coming in around the side, Q won't quite land on the target that they wanted. And that's what you and me need to do, is to turn around and just destroy that Lee Sin when he comes in for the attack. Here we go. Silence comes down. There is the inhibitor finally down. Feels like we've been waiting for that for 5 minutes, but SK Telecom finally getting that one out. There is a blue buff available for the taking on FNTIC's side of the jungle. Well, let's be honest, it's not been FNTIC's side of the jungle for quite a long time.
Yeah, great play by SK Telecom, just to eliminate any extra gold income that they could have. Move it over to his bottom turret, and they should be able to take this pretty scotch-free. I mean, if FNTIC didn't fight earlier, they shouldn't really be engaging here. We do have Soaz, though. He has a little bit of a better position this time. He has a different entrance into the you and me. Oh, here it is.
He's going to go for it. Look at Soaz. He's going to go in. Oh, he's missed the Q onto Kog'Maw, though, and the rest of the fight going on at the top side here. There is the shockwave. They're going to try and get in on towards Reckles. He will die. And now Cyanide coming through. Here comes the ultimate out of Karthus. Is it going to be enough to finish off the game here for SK Telecom? We will see N-Rated go down. And look at Kog'Maw. He's trying to get some revenge on Soaz. There is a panic shot. Not quite landing. But we will see SK Telecom here finish off this inhibitor turret. They survived with 4 men. Horo and Starlass are both very, very low, but you and me is still alive, and that's the key thing for them in pushing forward in this one. The super minions from this middle lane are going to be coming in here in just a second. They are going to be focusing on these Nexus turrets. Soaz has to do something as they focus in on him. He goes down. There is the ace. The Nexus turrets are falling. There's the first one down. Second one's going to fall as well. Who's tanking up? It's Reaper, who's got 5 million health by this point. There is the second Nexus turret. The Nexus itself is going to fall. And SK Telecom T1 are going to win Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, taking down FNTIC 2-1 in the grand final.
Joe, this is the first event. Doing very well. He's going to name for themselves. Took down FNTIC, who did so well IPL 5. Took down the reigning Season 2 World Champion TPA twice. Not a hard team, or actually, sorry, a really hard team to beat, but they do look very happy right there. And, I mean, if I was them, I would be. That was very well played. They had quite a few games today, not to mention day 1, where it was very close for them to get knocked out. Ended up coming back and winning the whole thing.
Yeah, they've played a fantastic best-of-3 here. And now, SK Telecom, as an organization, probably thinking, well, that was a brilliant pickup from us. You know, to kind of bet money on a team this big when your organization is that big is always going to be a risk, but Reapert and co there, I mean, every single name in there should be as big as Reapert is on the international scene, to be honest with you, because they've played an absolutely brilliant tournament. FNTIC obviously going to be disappointed, but they've hit second place, and to be honest, they've hit second place at IPL. They've won DreamHack, they've won the Thor Open. Like, this team, you could say is the best in Europe right now. Moscow 5 might have something to say about that, but
yeah, they might.